Imagine earning 2,500 US dollars a month, living in the heart of one of Asia's most vibrant cities, eating amazing food, and having enough free time to actually enjoy your life. Sound too good to be true? Well, stick around because I'm diving deep into the world of teaching English in Taiwan. The good, the bad, and everything in between, all from my own experience. But before I get started, hit that like button if you've ever been interested in teaching English abroad or even in Taiwan, and let me know which country you're interested in teaching in. As you may have gathered from a lot of my other videos, I predominantly focus on teaching English to clients and students here in Taiwan. A lot of my videos focus around that, but because I've been getting this question so much and so often over the last year, I decided to make this video. Now let's start with a quick intro to Taiwan itself. This beautiful island nation is home to 23 million people, incredible night markets, stunning mountain landscapes, and some of the nicest, most hospitable and friendliest people you'll ever meet. It's also what I've called home for the last 7 years. But what makes it so special for teaching English? Unlike South Korea or Japan, where the market itself is becoming very saturated, or Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia or cities like Dubai, where you need years of experience to actually get out into the workforce, Taiwan offers a sweet spot for both new and experienced teachers. The requirements? Well, it's usually a bachelor's degree and a TEFL certificate. Of course, if you're looking to get a public job in a school, or if you're looking for an international school position, you definitely would need at least a CELTA certification. But we won't dwell on that too much. Let's break down 3 things that you definitely should know before coming to Taiwan. The money situation. Entry-level positions at cram schools, or as they're called here in Chinese, Ban, can range from around 50,000 NT dollars up to 70,000 NT dollars, depending on the amount of hours you work per week. International schools then are a lot higher. They can pay over 100,000 NT dollars. That's around 3,000 to 3,500 US dollars per month. Compare that to Vietnam and Thailand, where it's around 1,000 to 2,000 US dollars per month, and you'll see why Taiwan is so attractive for so many people. Plus, with the rent averaging around 400 to 600 US dollars per month, it's a great opportunity for a lot of people wanting to come to Asia, save money, and also see the sights in this beautiful island. The second thing I want to discuss is the quality of life. And this is a key factor as to why I'm still here after 7 years. Healthcare is incredible and very affordable here in Taiwan. Thankfully, I haven't had to use healthcare at all in the last few years, touch wood. And so another thing is that the public transportation is uber convenient and efficient. Food is cheap and amazing. There's a wide variety of local and foreign food here in Taiwan. If you're looking for something cheap just to fill a gap, you can grab some dumplings or some rice triangles, also known as fantuan or onigiri. These are my go-to snacks when trying to eat on the run. If you're looking for more fine dining, fancy cuisine in a 5-star hotel or restaurant, that's also available to you here for a higher price. And in addition, unlike other Asian countries, the work-life balance is a little bit more respected for English teachers here. I'll talk a little bit more about that later when I'm talking about some of the drawbacks to living in Taiwan, so stick around for that as well. In general, you could say that most teachers work between 18 to 25 or 26 hours per week. Those would be teaching hours, although preparation time adds up to that as well. So in general, you're looking at a full week's work, at least 30 to 35 hours when you include the preparation time. The third thing I want to mention then is the teaching landscape itself. Now, this has come under fire from a lot of foreign teachers living and working here. They say it's either good or it's bad. I really think that depends on the employer that you're working for. So for example, here in Taiwan, parents value education above all else, which means steady work, but also very high expectations. The market includes kindergartens, cram schools, like we said, Bans, public schools, and international schools. There are some teachers like myself teaching at universities, but we'll leave that for another video. Each has its own pros and cons, which brings me to the real bones of this video. So let's address the elephant in the room, burnout. I've had this happen to me in my first and second year of teaching English here in Taiwan. I was absolutely exhausted week after week. And after the second year, I actually got really sick. And so this was kind of like a warning to me to really kind of just kick back a little bit and just tone it down in terms of the amount of teaching hours that I was actually working, which was pretty incredible. I think at the height of it, I was teaching around 30 to 32 teaching hours a week. I know it absolutely blows my mind that I was able to sustain that level of teaching, although the quality of the teaching hours was probably nowhere near as good as it is now. So that's a real factor to consider if you are planning on teaching here in Taiwan. So keep that in mind. In addition, teaching younger learners such as kindergarten or elementary school kids can be exhausting. As far as I know from my own experience, teaching kindergarten kids is technically illegal. However, you will find that some schools or cram schools, there's always a loophole that they can find a way to get a teacher in to teach the kindergarten kids. And if you're working for a boss that's a real slave driver, they will try and squeeze every little bit of energy and time out of you. So don't be afraid to stand up for yourself, ask about your contract, and look at the terms and conditions carefully before signing that contract with a school. Some red flags to watch out for then would be schools asking you to work on a tourist visa. Technically, this is illegal, but you'll still get a lot of schools asking to do this, and some teachers do this themselves. I know people who have done visa runs to Hong Kong, Okinawa, and Bangkok in the Philippines. But for the sake of your own sanity and stress, I would highly recommend getting yourself an ARC. The worst thing you can do is commit to a school or a Bushiban cram school and then have to leave after 90 days. There's no guarantee that you'll be let back in from the Taiwanese Immigration and Customs, so why take that risk? The second red flag is that contracts can be very unclear. So if you do have any questions, make sure you talk to your manager or hiring manager about some of the finer detail. On Google or Facebook can really help when it comes to figuring out what exactly the contract means, as there are many English teaching groups on Facebook that are actually quite valuable. And finally, a red flag would be places that don't provide health insurance. From my own personal experience, I found that a lot of schools will offer an ARC, which is your Alien Residency Certificate. This is another name for your work visa. And this comes once we work over 12 or 14 hours minimum per week. Now let's talk about something a little bit controversial, which is white privilege in the industry. I know it is controversial, but it's something that I feel I have to address. Many schools, even though they won't admit it, they will still prefer to hire white teachers from specific countries, which of course is problematic, but it's a reality that you should be aware of. I have friends and I know people who are from particularly non-white teachers may find specific challenges in this case, though this is slowly changing. And as I said at the start of the video, it really depends on the school that you're with. However, returning to a more positive note, here's why Taiwan still ranks as one of the best places to teach English in Asia. It has a very strong expat community, particularly within the teaching circle. It has an excellent healthcare system, which is what I mentioned at the start of the video. It's convenient and it's affordable. For as little as $5 or $6 US, you can see the doctor or dentist, and that includes your medication as well. Another thing to note is that it's extremely safe in Taiwan. I've been living here for about 7 years and I've noticed very little crime in general. You can go to a coffee shop or Starbucks and leave your laptop there while you use the bathroom, and chances are it'll still be there when you come back. The other thing to note is that professional growth opportunities, while it's great to teach English, if you are from another industry or have experience from a different field or industry itself, it is a little bit trickier to find those jobs. However, that climate is slightly changing. So drop a comment below if you'd like me to make a detailed video about any of the red flags or any of the issues that I mentioned in this video. So if you're looking for the too long didn't read version of this video, here are some great tips for success if you want to teach English here in Taiwan. First thing to do is to get your TEFL or TEFL certification online. I don't partner with any other companies that do this, but if you do a quick Google, you'll be sure to find some that can help you out. The second thing then is join Facebook groups for teachers looking to teach English in Taiwan. There'll be a host of information there schools offering employment opportunities, and other teachers to, I guess, give you a bit of a heads up and warning for schools to avoid or schools that they would potentially recommend. The third key point is what a lot of teachers avoid, and I'll talk about that perhaps in another video, but learn basic Mandarin Chinese. This is a must, and it's something that I experienced in the form of culture shock in my first and second year here, as my Chinese was terrible. So if you are looking to come here and teach English, I would highly recommend you take a basic course in Mandarin Chinese either first or as soon as you arrive, as it will help you out immensely. And the fourth thing then is to research schools thoroughly. So as I said, there are some horror stories of teachers in schools that they are really not happy with being there. And so the last thing you want to do is to have that backfire on you. Read your contract carefully. Reach out as well to English groups on Facebook for teachers that are looking for that extra additional information. Now, before I finish this video, I just want to be 100% real and transparent with you. While it's great teaching English here, some of the key drawbacks to living in Taiwan are the weather. The first one is the weather, absolutely. I would say in the summertime here, it can get as high as 38 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is sickening. That's the best way that I can describe it. It's really, really tough for a lot of people. So if you come from Europe, particularly Northern Europe or the US or a place that would feature, so that can be really difficult for people that come from Northern Europe, like myself, coming from Ireland. And if you're not used to that heat, it can be extremely exhausting. So bear that in mind. The second drawback then is natural disasters are a real thing here in Taiwan. We are often hit with many earthquakes and typhoons throughout a year. On average, I reckon about 3 to 5 earthquakes a year, and the typhoons probably around 2 to 4 per year. So if that's not something you're interested in, I would suggest looking elsewhere in other countries for that, as the natural disasters are pretty often. And the final drawback, which would be air quality issues. Depending on your location and the time of year, air pollution can be a really big problem for a lot of people, and it's also caused some teachers to move back home or move to a different country. It's been that serious. While Taiwan is the biggest manufacturer of semiconductors in the world, that also lends itself to a lot of factories and a lot of pollution coming from those factories and producing energy in the form of coal. So if you're interested, so it's not uncommon to see people wearing masks on a daily basis. As I just mentioned, the pollution generally comes from those more industrial areas. But don't let those challenges scare you off. Every country has its pros and cons, right? And for the most part, I would say most teachers find that the benefits far outweigh the inconveniences. So if you found this helpful, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Share it with somebody who may be interested in teaching English here in Taiwan. I'm also considering making a video about apartment hunting in Taiwan for English teachers. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments below. And finally, thank you so much for watching. And remember, teaching English in Taiwan isn't just about making money. Yes, while you can save and have a great quality of life, it's about embarking on exploring this beautiful island, getting out of the cities and really exploring the beautiful landscape that Taiwan has to offer. See you guys in the next video.